My real name is Julius J. Anderson, but my work name is J. Anderson. Right? 81 to Unit 38, Bob.
38.
I have Bob on the line. He would like to know where would you like to meet him at?
Yeah, good though, because he's kind of like...
Okay, knock that out.
So what do you mean when you say that it's all about who you know?
Well, because knowing the right people can set you right up with, the information.
Oh, okay.
See, you come. It's almost like you're a foreigner in a land, and you don't know anybody. By knowing people like me, who know people like that, and people who have journeyed these roads or walked down these alleys, them the people we want to get to. Those are the people we need to talk to, and it's going to take a lightning rod, or someone with a motivator, somebody inspiring. See, because on the other end, people say, well, why should I talk to them? Well, you need that pathway in. You need that door open up for you. And therefore, you have people like me that can navigate themselves in and out and can open a door and present it in such a way, make the other person feel like, hey, you adding to your country, your nation, your world, and making them feel positive and good on the other end. And then you can get what you need to have accomplished by doing that. So that's how we're going to do that. And I understand that we already have some people on staff that already know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody else. So we're going to see how that's going to work. But again, my name is Julius Anderson, but you guys can call me Jay or however, and then we can go from there. But I like to, first of all, formally introduce myself to everybody so we all on the same page. You are?
Carrie Kissel.
Carrie. Okay, I'm pleased to meet you, Carrie. Now, I know you from what's the...
and then from TJ Jordan.
T.J. Jordan.
One time you walked past my room upstairs in Studebaker, and we were dating each other, and you were like, yeah, something about our foundation better be God. I go to Union, too, so you probably know me from there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I
that's
first
right.
met you
okay, yeah. I probably said something like that because I'm strong on men. All right. So who would you like me to call you?
Carla.
Carla?
Yeah. Carrie.
Carrie? Carla?
Danny Gillespie.
Danny Gillespie.
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Dan is fine.
Dennis?
Dan.
Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad we got a male with us because I thought I was going to be with two months of man.
Well, he's actually the photographer, so he's on every.
Yeah, I'm just.
Why?
So,
what is wrong with females?
Yeah.
I'm going to do an excellent job.
Yeah, I know you will. I know you will. I know you will.
I was hurt when I heard that.
Well, not really. You wasn't really hurt, were you?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, first of all, I'm here really to start off about the listening part. I know some of the people's lineup. I want to know where we want to go and what specific area in which I'm going to deal with. I know everybody's dealing with various segments of the of this particular project, and I just want to know what would you like. Well, what would you like to know? Is it the educational part of it? Is that what we're going to focus in on?
Training the young is our chapter.
Training the young ones. Okay. And we want to go back as far as we can in history, right? Okay. Well, we have some excellent educators from Muncie and also some who have moved away from Muncie. And I think what we need to do is for me to, I wanted to formally meet with you first. Carrie, Dan, and Carla. Carla, Walla, Walla. And then after we formally meet, I need to be, or at least be with you to introduce you to some of the former educators from around this area. And then what I like to do, I guess one of my goals to do is to go with some of the people who had formal education, who have just came from nothing in terms, and then graduated and became doctors. There's 2 or 3 gentlemen like that. And then some who went through the school of hard knocks. Those that have learned from their forefathers, and they say smart, but they didn't have no formal learning, but they have achieved great things through from listening, hands-on and stuff like that, but they didn't have no formal education, and they have a hard time reading and writing and stuff like that, okay? Can we do that as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, can I ask you, beginning with you, Carrie, basically, what is it you like to, what are some of the things you would like to do, or what kind of, if you had your choice, what kind of people would you like to meet? And because they don't all have to be Afro-American people, do they?
Well, actually, in some ways, yes, because we're filling in the African-American history that was neglected when it was first written. So what we're doing is kind of going back and rewriting what was the experience back then in this Middletown. So somewhat, we would prefer to be probably African-American.
Okay. All right. And we can do that, too, because the reason why I'm saying that, because I'm sure you have people that when poor people seem like poor people are thrown in the same boat, whether you're black or white, some, not all, and they tend to hang together. I believe in that association, simulation. So some of them got connected with one another because of that. But if it's primarily sticking with the Afro-Americans, we can do that as well. All right. Do we have any dates? Oh, go on.
No,
Sorry.
I was going to say before we start, I just thought about the tape recording. Should have asked before I pressed record.
What's that? Oh, you recording this?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, well, we'll be recording our conversation, so is that okay with you? Or?
It's okay with me. I didn't know you was recording now.
Yeah, well, we was just kind of recording the introduction.
Okay.
But actually the levels are too down, so you're not really picking up much anyway.
Oh.
Like it actually needs to be cranked.
They just gave us the recorders last week, and so they told us to practice on you guys, the community advisors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Learn how everything works.
Okay. Did you want to start over?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, okay then. So I'm asking, what all would you like to receive from this?
I guess just the important stories of people that grew up in the Muncie school system, and what their experiences were, as well as some of the experiences that students have now and that teachers have now. We read the education part of the original Middletown study, and we picked out a few things that we might want to look at if you feel that they're important, and if the people that we talk to and do the interviews with feel that they're important. Who the teachers are. When we talked to Dolores prior, she said that there weren't very many black educators in the system, and you said that there were a few, but yeah, so that's one. How the parents participate. Do you need to get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me get that.
Okay.
When you was talking, Carrie, concerning, you had mentioned that there's not enough black educators or something, maybe.
Yeah, Dolores said that there weren't very many black educators in the system right now. So who the teachers are and how that affects the students, I think would be interesting to look at. When we went to the sessions yesterday at Central, Carl and I both went to the high school session that was about careers, and I thought it was really interesting that the woman, I think her name was Dia Moore, she was kind of encouraging the kids not to go into education, and I just thought that was interesting. She was like, well, you need to identify what kind of lifestyle you want, because if you want to drive a Jag, you're not going to make that kind of money in education. Don't go into it. But she emphasized the money part of it several different times.
Instead of education.
That it's important to educate.
She talked it down a lot, several different times.
She would now?
She talked it down a lot. I was really
Yeah.
surprised. Like, she kept using it as the bad example almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, hey, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I'm an education major.
So that kind of surprised me. Another thing from the original Middletown study that we thought was interesting to look at would be the participation of the parents. And that came up when we talked to Dolores the first day as well, when she said that when she was in school, her dad came by in the middle of the day every day to make sure that like all the kids in their family were actually in school, were not goofing off, were behaving, and what we wanted to know what the participation of the parents was now. What lessons do the children learn in addition to like the reading, writing, arithmetic, like what kind of life lessons are there. The importance of higher education within the community, which came out in the session yesterday too. Several different times they asked both the middle schoolers and the high schoolers how many planned to go to college, and almost all of them raised their hands. And then how many were going to go to military and then go to college, and only one of them raised his hand. Like they all wanted to go straight into college. What social life in the high school is, and then also religious training was focused on in the original study, and we wouldn't have to look at that, but I guess in the 1920s there was a lot of religious training even in the public school. Like the YMCA and the YWCA came to the elementary schools and taught Bible class, and all the schools started every day with a prayer and a sacred song, which obviously doesn't happen anymore. So we were kind of wondering where people get their religious training now. And we also identified some things that we thought were interesting that were not in the original study, like how part-time jobs affect high school life, how discipline is conducted in the schools, and how racism affects the students' experience, both in the classroom and on the playground, interacting with the teachers and the other students.
That's pretty much it. That's the whole wrap-up, basically, of what we read and what we want to see in our chapter, what the questions we want to answer, or the questions we want to go back and pick up and put into our section.
Okay.
We were wondering what you thought was important to do.
Okay. Well, I guess one of my biggest things would be is to put you at the right place at the right time. Put you with some of the existing educators, and we're losing some. Let me see if I can speak positively about the education system so that you can at least have another angle. I just returned from it was a convention. It was called NAPSE. It was a national allowance for black school educators. It was held in Atlanta, Georgia, for a week there. You had the black educators from all over the country and some parts of Africa and places like that. They came and they assembled themselves to see what can we do to close up the gap. What can we do as a race to educate our people? And what can we do to sustain and bring back black educators and teachers in our schools? As you may or may not know, there is a lack of black educators throughout the United States of America. Now, there is a premium being paid to Afro-American male, especially male. There's a premium being paid for black educators to not only to get their teaching's license, but to come into a school and teach. From my understanding, California will buy you a car and a home if you are a black Afro-American, not necessarily a male, but they are in such desire to have them. They're willing to pay. Just in my conversation, meeting other school board officials, administrators, and all these educators, just seeing them, I found one man and his wife. He was a very marketable man because he was a principal in the urban city of Chicago, right there in the urban part. He was a principal in a high school, Afro-American man. His wife was a math teacher, and he had 5 kids. Would make him very marketable because not only did they get him as a principal, get his wife as a teacher, but also get the kids in the school system. So people like that can write their own check to basically any place in good old USA because black educators are in high demand right now. I just want to say that. There's got to be a gap in terms of there's got to be a gap in terms of money. Now, we know that it depends on where you're from. Several years ago, just in Boston, Massachusetts, the garbage collector was making $30,000 when the teacher was only making $20-some thousand. But we got to look at the geographical area and where we at. And then we got the way. You got your public school, and you got your urban schools, you got your public school, and then you got your private schools, and and your charter schools and enterprise schools, and go on and so far. But in terms of education, there's a wealth of job opportunities. So I would encourage not only the Afro Americans, but I would encourage the Hispanic Americans too, because if you realize it, or maybe you don't, but the year 2023, the largest population of people is going to be that of Hispanics. And right now, for just anybody that's willing to go to Texas and cross the border, or just right there on the border, when 90% or 99% of the speaking is Spanish, it's you're in a high demand. You're in a high demand speaking English. But those people are overflowing, and they are coming in, and now they're taking over. Not necessarily taking over, but they're spreading out, and they're going to become the majority. Here's very soon. 2023 ain't far away, and they're just growing. There's no more this Afro-American, They won't be able to share that spotlight, and I don't know if you knew that. I learned it in a seminar some time ago, and it's becoming true. So I like to defend the school teachers. Number one, I do believe that we need to give them more money. If we're going to attract them, and that's why California and places like Nevada is having all these luxury packages to do that. I noticed in Atlanta school. Now, I don't know if you've been to Atlanta or not. I don't know if you know very much about Atlanta, but when you go to Atlanta, and you can put this on the tape, it's chocolate. It's chocolate. When you go to your restaurants, when you go to your hotels, when you go to, and for some conservative Caucasians or Angloid Americans whose eyes have not been opened, going to Atlanta would definitely open your eyes, because it's Chocolate City. The school system is 99%. So I wanted to go and tour the schools. They had going to the urban schools. Now we know right there, and everybody knows that right in the urban community schools, it's going to be nothing but urban. I wanted to go out into the county, such as leaving here, going out to Winchester or Delville. I went out there. Guess what I found? The same thing. You go this way, it's like that. You go that way, it's like that. You go over there, everywhere you go, it's chocolate. But the thing that impressed me was the fact that they had a lot of black males. We know that 68% of our population right now is incarcerated with black males, just in the state of Indiana. We know just from this legislation paper I have here on my desk, from the office from the governor, we know that he's given 0% money for school or educational or technology, but he's given $34 million for prison penalty systems. There's a problem with that. So we got some problems in this country, but yet we still got some problems just with our people as well. As well as that. I don't want to get on a tangent about that stuff. But what I want to do is focus back in on what we need to do to put you in the right place at the right time with the people, with these educators. In terms of going back into the 1920s, there are some people whom I know. One gentleman by the name of Mose Dollison. Mose Dollison is 93 years old. He can tell you about when the first plane came around. He has nothing but time. He can tell you about this. But back then, those men, they didn't have very much education. We got to remember in terms of people migrating from the South, coming here to beautiful Muncie, Indiana, they really didn't have the luxury of going and doing things. It was up until, from what I'm understanding, after the war, World War II, blacks couldn't even get a job here at Ball State. Right here. And as I look around my department, in terms of ethnicity, I'm the only Afro-American in this area. Sound surprising? It's not. At this level. You know what I'm saying? So that, and this is not a high level, this is a stepping stone, just a little one. But I tell you, there's a lot of things that we need to uncover, a lot of things need to be revealed, and you need to hear it from the people who lived through it. And I like to get you through a gentleman by the name of Mose Dollison, another gentleman actively in the Muncie Community School system who is presently the only black administrative man. Was back during the time I was there and still is. But this may be his last day of last year. You know, we kind of got him extended last year. But when he goes, we are hurting in terms of having or recruiting. His name is Michael Gorns. He's at Muncie Southside. He's an assistant principal. We need to talk with him and sit down and interview him. I just sent a gentleman with him last week to job shadow him from 10 to 2 o'clock. This guy was right there with him. Went through the lunch period, went through the classroom periods. Why? Because we wanted to make sure that we get some people over there that can help him. Another gentleman is a retired superintendent from the Muncie Community School. We want to talk to him. His name is Sam Abrams from Muncie. He's dealing with the what's that? The CAPS program. I hope I got that right. Yeah. Well, Sam Abrams, he will be an excellent. He was a former superintendent, the first superintendent we had. He graduated from this school system. He came through this school system. Now he's a superintendent. There's another gentleman who came through the Muncie Community School Systems, and he knew in the 6th grade that he wanted to be an educator. And his name is Dr. Charles Coleman. He's right now is the superintendent for the Battle Creek, Michigan school system. His name is Dr. Charles Coleman. He has roots here. It'd be nice to talk to him and his father. And his father is 82 years old. It'd be good to sit down and we talk to him about education. His name, we call him Kid, but he's blind. But he's got a good mind. And we can talk to him. His name is Kids. I'm throwing these names down to you. There's another gentleman who came through the Muncie Community School System. His name is Bill O'Neill. He's a retired superintendent out of Anderson, Indiana. And he's an excellent man that we can talk to. He can bounce some of this stuff off your head. I'm just swinging from my hip. I ain't even had a chance to start thinking about the other one. I'm giving you all males, right? But I'm going to give you some. There's another lady and another man by the name of Mr. Red and Mrs. Red. They, you know them, right?
Dolores, yeah. The company's names that Dolores has mentioned, or they sound very familiar.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we got them. I don't know how, but they people had to pay their way and buy their clothing and stuff like that. He was giving me some stories how he made it and stuff like that. But they're good. They're part of the Reinhardt's family, and there's several more. You got Foster, right? Robert Foster, right? You got him, okay, and another gentleman by the name of, and we want to go a little deeper than that. We want to go into when things was tough for a black man or a black woman to do some things. There's a guy by the name of Henry Marshall. Henry Marshall. He'll be able to talk to us about that. Now, you guys don't want to do Hurley Goodall, do you?
He's already working as a
yeah, but he's a scholar at this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? He's a scholar at this kind of stuff. And there will be several others that's coming, but I need to at least touch bases with them. Now I kind of see where we're going, and I know what our goal is to come up, get some great information on the other side. We know what was happening with white American, but on the other side of town, what was going on. But we got to really. I don't know if it's going to. I don't know if you can think about it or whatever. But we kind of gotta. I mean, we gotta kind of put ourselves back into that time and to grasp what they're saying. They won't be able to say it. Now, I'm not speaking about the present educators. I'm speaking about them that are older, and things are slipping a little bit. But if we don't tap into that reservoir of knowledge, then it'll never be said or never be known. There's a gentleman by the name of Frank Wilson. Frank Wilson, Mr. and Mrs. Frank Wilson. And I'm finding out that the people that had the degrees, like Dr. Foster and all their children turn out to be doctors and lawyers and school teachers. But they put those qualities in them. So we need to put Wilson going to be a good one for us to capitalize on. And then let them to rehearse and relive that time when blacks couldn't get anything, when they couldn't do that stuff. And Wilson would be an excellent man to start off with. You know what I mean? Be an excellent man. So I know where we at now. I know where we got to go. But how much time do we have in between?
3 months.
3 months. Okay. Then what we need to do, this is just me speaking. You can correct me if you like. I need to bring you in the presence. I need to be the liaison. I need to go before you. And then I need to bring you into the presence of these people. And then I need to set up in a home environment that when you come there, you become a part of the fixture in terms of just soaking, pulling out all that resource, all that wisdom, all that information out of them by talking to them and asking them. And these are excellent people who have been married over 60 years, who have had to struggle, who have to come, had to just pull themselves up, per se. So they're here, they're still living, and this is the best time in their life that we can get this stuff without the stuff just going back down to the dust. Time when blacks couldn't even come or go to the movie theaters here in Muncie, or times when blacks couldn't even come to the restaurant. They had to go in the back of the restaurant. All that stuff exists, and all that stuff, and these people don't live through it, and that is still alive. And it's very fascinating to hear them tell their story on this side of Muncie. And I think you're going to find it very interesting and stimulating to say, I can't believe this went on. But you know what? The founders of this great university, the Balls, they could have changed this whole area. They could have changed it, but not then. Just even last night I was hearing just a comment concerning people got mad at Balls because of the fact they had hired one or two Afro-American people at that time. And they say, look, if you don't get rid of them, we're going to quit. They got rid of the blacks. You know what I mean? So it was up until the 40s until you didn't even have we couldn't even work out here. But we don't want to get into that side of the story. We would want to, and see, that was in the 40s. So if blacks can go, then the first Afro-American that graduated from Ball State University, his name was, start with a W. He's out in San Diego, California. I don't know if he's still alive or not. I kind of, when I was in school, I kind of did a paper on him. You know, I forget his name. Well, anyway, that's not important. But I think that we can take this journey, and we can go from here. And I think that we can really, really impact this book or this whatever we're doing, even maybe transfer it into a movie. And I think we can get some things together, and we can do well on it.
I would definitely want to know the guy's name.
Which one?
The first black student.
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways.
Foster knows him too.
Okay, in some ways, we can pull that in. Because we're doing it on Muncie, but Ball State is a part of Muncie.
Mm-hmm.
And then for him to be the first to graduate, what was his whole experience through the 4 years of his college?
Mm-hmm.
I would want to know that.
Yeah, he was in bad health when I was trying to get him.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in bad health when I was trying to get him. That was several years ago. I don't know if he has deceased, but I think Foster them can bring that stuff up. I know you guys can't stay long because you got a 1 o'clock meeting today, right?
Mm-hmm.
With everybody else?
Yeah.
I hope we're starting off on a good foot, you know. And again, that's why I kind of started off saying that who you know is who you know. You know, I myself did a somewhat something to this because, well, I wanted to come together and do something about marriages. There's marriages are failing with the Afro-American, with people in general. Mm-hmm. So I put on a little thing, and I'm not. Stand by. Look, get that. Muncie.
Mm-hmm.
Just bad. I went out and I looked for 5 married couples who had been married over 50 years. And I asked them and I went to each one of them and asked them, would you come and talk to some married couples who have not been married that long so we can see what was your secret? And I found that to be not only educational, but it was one of the best things that ever happened. I only had room for 300 people. It sold out in a day and a half. I got 5 married couples. Now, at first it was just dealing with Afro Americans. Then I mixed it up. I got somebody from I just mixed it up. I had 3 Afro American couples. Then I got 2 Caucasian couples, and I brought them together. And their journeys. Some come from the north, some come from the south, come from the east, some come from the west. But they.
Oh, but you were talking about the marriages.
Oh.
The 5 people you're bringing in from the east, west. And
Yeah,
south.
where was that? Where'd you go?
Well, what we did, we held it at the Muncie. What was it? Huh?
For Arts or Muncie Civic Theater.
Exactly.
Civic Theater.
We had it at the Muncie Civic Theater. We wanted to bring it to a neutral place. We didn't have a preacher or nobody over it, so people say, "Well, I ain't gonna go because that's a union thing. I ain't gonna go because that's a thing." No, it generated through something which I just had this thing because I don't know. In Indiana, just a little history. Indiana was the second in the nation in divorce, behind Nevada. This is nothing to be proud of. You will say, "No, why Indiana?" Because Indianas have what we call a no-fault divorce. So, if you plan on getting married, this is not a good place to get married. You know what I'm saying? You know, and as we look at the collapse of the economy, Indiana is number 1 in the nation in unemployment. I mean, we got to look at this thing. So, you know, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Hmm?
Do you think it's just because of the state, or I'm thinking divorce mainly depends on the husband and wife.
Yeah.
So you're saying if married, don't marry nobody from Indiana?
No. I mean, let me see if I can clarify that. Being that Indiana has this no-fault divorce, if she burn up your food, if so and so happened, you can divorce for no reason, no cause at all. You can get rid of them. She gained 20 pounds, and what I've been noticing, she have a baby, she gets a little large. Well, if your belly been stretched, you're gonna get big too. It's been going. I'm just from the man perspective, you know. She get 42. He want to trade her in for 2 21-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all that stuff is. I'm just talking. Yeah. But you know, for various reasons, I'm just going from the man perspective. Infidelity, fornication, adultery, all that stuff plays in there too. Finance, communications, all that plays in. But one of the biggest things, not so much all that, is economics, money here. When you lost turnover of jobs, this is a heavy industrial area. This you know, factories and stuff here in Indiana. So, you know, all that plays into a factor too. And then within the ministries themselves, there's more inside the ministries than on the outside of the ministry. So what are you saying? I mean that 51% of the people in ministries, not all, but some, you know, have you noticed a church you've been to, people inside the church getting divorced? 2 married couples going together? All this stuff was exposed because we brought in a marriage counselor who talked about this and gave all this information at this thing when we had all the couples speaking and stuff. So it was really good. But that's just something it don't pertain to this, but what it did do, it brought us together on a platform. Here we had 273 years of history dealing with marriages. It brought all these people together with their own stories. And each one of them, the husband and the wife, 5 minutes apiece, told about their story and their struggles. Another couple to put on here is QL and Willa Mae Stevens from QL Barbecue. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can get some barbecue, taste something. Huh? We'll want to set that up too. They've been married over 50 years, but they can tell you about their schools and how they both educated their kids and stuff, and they doing real well too. QL and Willa Mae Barbecue. So we get over there, I'm going to fix you up so you can taste some of that stuff. You done ate some, huh?
You already know I have.
Okay, well, maybe we're going to fix you up on that. Yeah, so we can have you get in some of that stuff. But what I like to do, from my involvement, I would like to meet with you. I'd like for us to get to know one another. And the way we know one another is through fellowship, by being around, by asking questions, by calling, you know. And I want to build a friendship. But if we never be around each other, if we never talk or communicate, then we just say, hey, Joe, hey, Bob, hey, Dan, you know, hi, Carla, you know what I mean? So we want to do our high carry. We want to make sure that we communicate with one another. Okay? So I think that in this particular area, I can be of great help to you. I do believe that 3 months will go by real quick. You know, I do think that once we go in and talk to somebody, we drain them, we soak them. You know what I mean? But I think that there may be some times when people are not, they're irritable. I think once we get comfortable with one another, you know what I mean? Just like you talking with me, we want to build that same kind of thing with them. And they can't give you everything in one shot. You know what I mean? So we got to kind of almost like live with them to a certain extent. What it was like. And you know, Frank will talk your head off. QL will talk your head off. Some of these other guys talk your head off. But we'll get a good balance and a good mixture of people. And when I'm speaking about just one, I'm speaking about their wife too. All the people I done told you, they got wives. You know what I mean? So you can get it from both angles. And then they got children. And their children is older and graduating doctors and lawyers and whatever. You know? So I think this is going to be a good deal for us all. I think it's something that's probably perhaps long overdue. And it's just like Martin Luther King Day on yesterday. As I look back around, I look at all my colleagues and people whom I work with. To them, it was just another day. There was no significance to it at all for them. You know, I myself, I was in the 6th grade when he was killed, living out in Phoenix, Arizona. When he was murdered, they immediately start rioting in the school. I was going to a school called Booker T. Washington, and it's a black school. I was in the 6th grade, and they let the school go home. They let our school go home. We was coming home. Then the blacks in that era, during that time, they went to fighting. They went to busting out windows and laundries and doing all that stuff. So, you know, it has taken a long time to get to where we're at today. Is there prejudice still around here in this area? Of course it is. And what some may not know, Indiana was a very, very, this was, in fact, less than 50 miles from here, where the was the heart, huh?
The headquarters. The
headquarters of the Ku Klux Klans. So, and then if you know, and it was up until in the 70s they had this great big old sign. You seen the big billboard sign like Marlboro down the horse, on them big old signs. Remember that? Have you ever seen one of them big old signs? Like when you're driving down the street, you see the great big old billboard sign.
Billboard. Oh,
yeah, billboard.
Okay,
yeah, and they had one there in Elwoods, and they kept it there for a long time. Great big, it says, "Don't let the sun go down on you." Then they use that N word.
Really?
Yeah.
In the
I've heard about
70s?
that.
Yeah, they said, huh? You hear about that?
I've heard about that.
Don't let the sun go down on you. I mean, and that was prejudice to that time. My wife then was a cheerleader. They go there to play. They spit on them, rock that bus. So, you know, we had all that kind of stuff. So Indiana, in fact, if you look at it, the South is more advanced than we are when it comes to that and turnovers. So, it's bad. And you know, in Muncie we got little towns, you know, little areas. Whiteley is not a bad place. Whiteley ain't no slums. It ain't no ghettos. You ain't seen no ghettos, no slums until you get out of here. The cities, we don't have nothing like that. Now we got some areas where some wannabes, or we got some areas where people that you know, living in low subsidized homes or something like that. But we don't have no slums. We don't have no ghetto. Baby, you ain't seen until you go to the city. Now the city's got that. People sleeping on the sidewalks. You know, I mean, that's there, but not here. Muncie has been, in my opinion. Now I hadn't been here. I didn't come here until to '69. I didn't come to Muncie till '69, and then I was gone for 20 years because I went into the military and retired. So, but I graduated from high school and all of that. So I was gone for a while, but I was the one that was always connected to the community, knowing who's who, and knowing who the shakers and the movers are. in our community, and have somewhat maintain a pretty level head. So, and that's what it's going to take with all of us. Now, I would just challenge you, each one of you, and to encourage you to begin to not necessarily go by what I'm saying, but use your own creativity, your own mind, your own intellect. You can shape and focus a question the way you need to have it, where it's beneficial to you. Now, what QL says to Carla may mean something different to you. But let's see if we can work together to get that true meaning of that in which he said that's going to benefit both of us. That's what I'm trying to say. So that we all on the same page. And if there's a misunderstanding, we need to do it with them. In terms of what all we need to do as far as to make our deadline, I'm a very punctual guy. So if I tell you I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. If something's wrong if I'm not, you know. So we don't need to have this hit and miss stuff.
I'm sorry we were late. I'm sorry we were late. We were waiting in the bus.
No, that ain't what I'm talking about. I thought this was good. Okay. I mean, if we're gonna do something, I'm not scolding you yet. If we're gonna do something, we need to do it. You know, I don't know if there's anybody else gonna be in our team or what, but I think that we can do some great things together, some great things, you know, and through this, you know, it may get, and I might as well tell you, it may get a little emotional. It may get when you get to dealing with people who have went through the struggle. Some of them still carrying them scars in their heart. Some of them still bearing that, because I can tell you two of them right now. They still, and some of the stuff they're gonna take to their grave because they've been mistreated, abused, been I can't say sexually molested or nothing like that, but they just been dehumanized, you know. And yet we want to explore them, but it's going to take a man like me with a relationship with them to enter in and kind of help unlock some of those doors. I'm not going to be with you all the time. Once it gets going, we move from Project A, if it's Wilson, to Project B, if it's QL. But each time we go in, I'll be there with you so we can set the tone, so that we can make sure that we provide and get all the information. Now, it's too bad we can't do is focusing on just the Afro-Americans, because not only them suffering, but some others suffered along with them. But and one thing that we have, you know, just like they have those freedom fighters and people of justice, you know, I have the theory and this belief. I don't know if you guys know Tony Brown. He's a journalist. Tony Brown. He writes. He's always on television and stuff. He's a journalist. But his theory and his thing is, I mean, he's well versed in a lot of areas. And his philosophy, and which I accepted and adopted, is that you got some good black people, and you got some bad black people. You got some good white people, you got some bad white people. And then he says, you got a sprinkle full of fools. You got to pick out where you at in that. Where you lie, where you fit in that. So, I don't know if all of this is going to change anything, but at least we're on the right track. So, in terms of the educational part of things, I'm here to work with you. You got my number, how we can get a hold to one another. I'm available, make myself available. But you know who's got the hottest schedule in town? Me. Every night. Now I'm going to be at 21st Century tonight. Just every night. So, you know, it's very important that we call and say, Carrie from the other side, or, you know, however, then, you know, just however. But we will be successful with that we do. And I believe in this. baby, if we start something, we got to finish it. Don't get halfway in and say, I'm burnt out, I'm tired. Because time is very important. A talent, giving up our gift, and our treasures. You're going to spend some money going from point A to point B. So your time, talent, and treasures, we got to work them things together, them 3 T's. You know. And then if there's a problem, we need to be man and woman enough to talk about them. If there's something you don't like about something, we need to discuss that too. At all times, we need to have some kind of system of communication where we're not left alone with anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I'm saying. That's one reason why I wanted some mans with me.
Is that true? Is that true? Or you just wanted to work with the men?
Well, I think it's important. We're living in a society today that, you know, you can't trust anybody. Some, not all. I don't want to say all of that. You know, people have good intentions. People mean well. But all the enemy needs is just a little crack. And he'll take a perfectly harmless, innocent situation. Then he'll make it bad. He can make it a nightmare. So even with myself, I never have any meetings without having, say my windows open. I always insulate myself too. Not that I'm desirable, but I always have me some kind of, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have a plan of escape. You hear what I'm saying? These things what we need to talk about, you know, because you don't know these people. You never seen them before. Some, not all. Then you kind of got an advantage, being that you are Spanish, aren't you? Yeah. So what we need to do is to we are professionals. We come to extract from them, and we come to take that which we have extracted, and not only put it down in paper, but we got to kind of almost like relive their lives on paper, doing that particular part of their life, that which we can. Am I making myself clear on that? Okay. I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. I think that having the right people and the right person to help keep us going, because I am a driving force in terms of being a motivator and encourager and doing that. So sometimes we may have to just go to dinner together to get information, you know. But if we can keep that buddy system where there's 2 of us at all times, you know, don't make a difference who it is, you know, as long as we got 2. And then we want to keep, you know, there's something here we need to get. See, this is a class. I mean, the whole semester is all y'all doing, huh? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I will be giving out midterms. I will be giving out quizzes along the way. And
you just know them pop quizzes. Give us.
No.
We need a full one.
Yeah. How's everybody with transportation?
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all, you got a Lexus, girl. You all right.
I'm not gonna laugh.
It's just a matter of getting your driver in line.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate you, and please, by all means, I mean, feel comfortable around me. I'm just a little bit by myself. I have 3 children myself.
Yeah, I noticed all the Boy Scout pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, that was back in the day. Yeah.
Is that well, this one up here, are those, I can't really see because there's a glare.
Yeah.
Are you a leader up there?
Yeah, but I'm not anymore.
Oh, was that back in the day as well?
Yeah, I was a scoutmaster for 10 years. Yeah.
Was that for your sons or?
You know, my sons, and then after they left, and you know, I was dealing with some other guys' sons too. You know. I'm originally from Blythesville, Arkansas, where I was born at. So I was born in Blythesville, left at an early age, and moved out to Phoenix. Grew up in Phoenix, left Phoenix in '69. Moved to Muncie, graduated from the Muncie Community School, junior high school, and high school.
Which schools did you go to?
Franklin and Muncie Southside. I graduated from Muncie Southside.
Okay.
I was in the ROTC program there at Southside, and then
really? Isn't it the
Marines.
How did they put it? Is it junior ROTC or?
Yeah, junior ROTC, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I went into the Navy. I did 4 years active, and while I was on active, I signed up for reserves.
Mm-hmm.
So I never did have a break of service. So I did my last 16 years in reserves. Then I retired in '96 out of the reserves, and but during all that time I was doing scouting and stuff like that.
Are those caps yours?
Yeah, it was all the ships in which I served on.
Cool.
Yeah, during that 20-year ride.
What did you do in the Navy?
I started off being an electrician's mate.
Mm-hmm.
And guys that supply power to the missiles, torpedoes, all that kind of stuff, you know.
Wow.
Electrical, huh? So on the ships. And well, some pretty nice ships, really nice ones. I'm presently on the Muncie Community School Board. I was dealt with Habitat for Humanity, I'm on the American Heart Association. You know, have always been with, you know, big brothers, big sisters, and stuff like that. Have always found myself helping out younger people because I grew up without a father. So I've always wanted to be a father to a lot of other boys. So right now, as I look at all them guys, I done had about 50 or 60 young men. Only 2 of them, well, one's dead. He had sickle cell. He deceased. And I had 2 of them go to jail. Numerous go to college. A lot of them successful. So I planted some pretty good seeds along the way. And then, you know, I have 3 children. My oldest son, his name is Julius. He's out. I have a daughter, Quay. You know Quay? You don't know Quay?
Is your other son, his name Bryson? Or?
Brenton.
Brenton.
Yeah. Now, Quay went to Ball State, but she I don't have no recent picture of her. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Quay went to Ball State. But she moved to Indy.
What
So,
part?
I don't know, she was in VOC, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought maybe you guys knew her.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where she graduate?
No,
Yeah, I
she's
feel like I recognize her.
Huh?
A little bit.
Unless you've seen her
I
on
don't
the
know.
police, on the post office.
I said police.
Yeah. I just celebrated. I had my birthday Saturday. Celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary last year, and I married my high school sweetheart. Yeah, so we've been together about 30-something years now. I would like to. I like to build relationships. I'm about building, and I like bringing people together. So I believe, and I'm just talking by faith, I believe that the 3 of you have the right man for this particular job. And I'm saying it by faith because I have a relationship with people. And when you got a relationship with people, I mean, that's what life's about, is relationships. Building, not tearing down, but building up. And I kind of want you to get the feel of me. The reason why I'm giving you this information, so you know what I'm somewhat about, and that I'm not all over the place. I'm not reckless, and I just don't jump on this. You know what I'm saying? But there is some stability in a foundation that within me, and I think that's so critical, because if you don't have no confidence or no faith, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm human. I will make mistakes. Then, you know, you'll have somebody say, it's all over the place. No, I'm disciplined. You don't go through 20 years in the Navy and not be disciplined. I'm disciplined. You don't go through a marriage, just you got to be disciplined. Yeah, it's choppy, and it's not easy, But there's some consistency. And all I'm saying is that, and I'm going back to what I said earlier, once we started, can we at least finish it? Can we finish what we started? And if we can finish it, then I'm with you. Okay? Well, that's all I got.
Well, I just wanted to chip in. Sorry, I'm I'm not feeling so good today.
It's okay.
But you asked what everybody was looking for. I'm kind of looking like because I sort of mean like right now I'm just listening, and like through a lot of these I'm just gonna be listening, trying to listen to the history. But like when it comes to photographing something, I really want to maybe like pick out like an individual or a series of individual who maybe I haven't quite figured it. I'm just sort of like listening right now to figure out the community and where I need to go, and I'm not really sure where I need to go. But like I think eventually I'd like to pick an individual or a couple of individuals and just like try to tell their life through photographs. Just show like what it's like. Maybe I'm not quite sure if it's like what it's like to be in the schools right now, or what it's like to educate or to be educated in the schools right now. But that's I just wanted to let you know, like that's the sort of angle that I'm kind of looking for this project.
That's good.
And then for me, I'm just listening.
Okay. Well, you're the smartest of us all, because
I'll debate you on that
well,
one.
I'm saying it because a lot of us, and especially me, we got to learn the power of listening. And I'm glad you said that, because we don't need to interject. We just need to let them tell the story. And all people want is somebody to listen to them. I mean, that's what all the arguments about. What happened? Then they tell the story, they feel better. You know what I mean? I'm good about bringing two people that hate each other, that work for me, but they both like me. I bring them in this office. But before I bring them one at a time, then I bring them both together. When they leave that door, they hugging and chewing gum, walking out. You know what I mean? And the only thing I do is just tell them that this guy like you and this other guy like you, and they go on. You know, or whatever. It's just relationships. I'm sorry for not giving you a chance to say what you really want to say.
No. I just wanted to chip in because like she said I was the photographer, and like and then like Kara was sort of representing what the entire group is looking for. I just wanted to let you know.
Are you gonna be bouncing from group to group?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Okay. But you just meet with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to meet with you as much as possible.
Okay. Well, have you had a chance to y'all sit down with the other advisors and met with them?
We had our very first meeting, kind of dinner, and we met our academic advisors. But we met our advisors, community advisors. Prior, Dolores Pryor, she's our other academic, but you know what I mean. But she told us a few names, and she said she was going to get some contacts, and we have a meeting with her tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right.
And we're basically going to do just about the same thing, and then we're going to put all our stuff together. Maybe if we can, even try to get like a weekly meeting established for every week for the next 3 months or so that we can just come back and give you our updates or something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to send you nowhere. I'm going to go with you.
Okay.
Especially the first time. Okay. Because these people in whom I have a relationship with, I'm not going to drop anybody on there. I'm particular. That's why, I wanted to put that there. Okay? So
our classes are Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 1 to 5, just for, like, if you are calling somebody and seeing when they're available. But Monday, Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, I'm sorry.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Got it.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah, from 1 to 5.
From 1 to 5. And then the other
Also, if you'd ever like to come by.
We meet, Mondays we meet
Schaefer Chapel.
At the chapel, and then Tuesday and Thursday we meet at the Kinselman Center on University.
Yeah. So Schaefer Chapel is Mondays? So y'all going to be there today?
No, Tuesday we're at Virginia Ball.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's Thursday?
Thursday is Virginia Ball's in there too.
Where's Virginia Ball at?
The Kinselman Center on University.
Like out past the hospital?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I've been there lots of times, yeah. That's where y'all at on Tuesdays and Thursdays, y'all there?
Yeah.
1 to 5? Okay, what do y'all do in your classes?
Chat.
Yeah, we were given probably this first month or so, we're doing a lot of research of our books and reading Middletown and different types of assignments. And then majority of the time, we've been kind of talking about that and what we're getting out of it. But now that our assignment this week was to meet with our community advisor, so most likely today we may talk about what we've talked about or where we're